Football fans are naturally resistant to change.
The first thing they said was that, oh, we're willing to introduce technology as long as it doesn't slow down the game.
You can't help but think it's part of the homogenization or the Americanization of the sport.
Should football be 100% correct? Like, what is football?
It does make the game just a bit too almost squeaky clean.
Football's all about uncertainty. Football's all about controversial moments.
It is genuinely a good thing. But you don't have to like something for it to be good. It's like, you know when your mom told you to eat your greens when you were a kid? You don't want to do it. You know you should, but it doesn't mean you always want to.
It was only a matter of time before the conversation around video assistant refereeing went from a what if to what the actual fuck. Those with nut allergies may want to be warned, because here it is in a nutshell. January the 8th, 2018 can be seen as the day it made its debut in competitive football in England when Brighton and Hove Albion took on Crystal Palace in the FA Cup. The method is as follows. 3 people in a room review the footage of an incident from different angles. There is the video assistant referee, who is a current or former referee, an assistant and a playback operator. They must assess whether there is a clear error on the pitch which requires attention. Their involvement can be requested from the on-pitch referee, or they can give a recommendation. The on-pitch referee can either immediately overturn their previous call based on VAR advice, review the incident on a sideline monitor, or stick with their initial decision. The incidents under review are as follows: goals and the violations in the build-up to them, penalties, red cards, or mistaken identity in awarding a card. Without further ado, let's kick this off.
The biggest issue with being in the stadium is the lack of consideration for the people that are in the stadium.
There is no communication, you know? The referees, the players, the fans, no one knows what's going on.
You don't know what's going on for 4 minutes, what you're going to do. Like, it's like, you know when there's a lengthy injury and someone's being stretchered off and you're just standing there like, what's going on, what's going on?
I was at Anfield watching the West Brom Liverpool game, and the first decision that I really thought was the Craig Dawson header, scored a goal that was disallowed. We thought we'd scored and we were celebrating, we were going mad, we were enjoying it. And then obviously, I think not having the TVs in the ground at the minute and not being able to see what's going on as a fan's perspective, it killed the atmosphere a little bit, and it wasn't as great a win and a celebration as I'd have wanted it to be.
Every single element of football is just hard, it's difficult, it's stressful and it's miserable, and the only release you get is that pure unadulterated joy of seeing your team score a goal. Now if you take that away, or you delay that, or you cast doubt so that you can't throw yourself into it, you're starting to strip away a bit of the joy of the game.
You pay for a ticket to have fun, not to be waiting around for a decision to be made.
It was the first time being a football fan in the stadium that I felt like myself being in the stadium was secondary to what was happening, as though we were the live studio audience to a televised production.
Despite its effect on the experience of the game, it's given us a chance to review our opinion on referees and their validity.
If you look at the statistics, like if you look at Serie A, A-League, Primera Liga, around 90 to 92% of the VAR decisions have been proven to be correct. So the original decisions made by the referees have been proven to be correct. So then it's really a question of, is it worth the time?
You started to see hints of it in the Liverpool-West Brom game, is players calling for it after every single tackle, every single missed kick, every single break in play. What happens when the referee doesn't use the decision? Well, he's going to get lambasted, and then so what happens in reverse? Well, he starts using it more often, and then all of a sudden maybe you lead, as I say, worst case scenario to referees going, well, what's the point in me making a decision myself? Because I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't.
The main reasons we should be sticking to the VAR is just for the most obvious decisions. And I know referees make mistakes, they do it every week up and down the country. We know, it happens. As a West Brom fan, I personally feel like I've been on the end of a lot of bad refereeing mistakes. However, it's just part of the game and it's something you've got to get on with.
For me, the referees are sovereign, you know? If your job is to manage the game, then you should be given full control. This isn't to say that you can't be given help. But the problem with the use of VAR in England is that Martin Atkinson in the Chelsea game, he didn't even get to look at the replay himself. He had to fully depend on a secondary opinion.
Essentially, it's just another person looking at it. Football will inevitably be open to interpretation. And
one person's penalty might be another person's play on, You can never ever quantify what is and what isn't a penalty.
I think it should be used to get the yes or no decisions. And I think the rest should be left up to the referee.
I think it's easier for other sports, like especially tennis. There's so many stoppages anyway. They stop halfway to eat a banana. Like, you don't see that in the middle of a football game, apart from obviously when you go off at half time. FIFA and the FA and numerous FAs across the world have already established that, this is right. So right now, it's not an argument as to whether or not it should be used. For me, it's an argument as to how we're going to use it.
VAR in its current form is not ready for football at all. The decision-making is correct, and getting correct decisions is right. And I think that is, there is a value to that.
It's all about testing it and making sure you get something that works.
I will watch with great interest how they move on from these tests, because if it exists in this form at the World Cup, I think it will fail.
FIFA has VAR in its sights for the World Cup and is expecting to iron out all the kinks before it all kicks off in June. The debate is still out whether it will ruin the best competition on earth.
Is it ruining the game? Is it going to ruin the game? No, there've been massive changes to football that happens over the years. I think the good thing that we are now is that football fans are a lot more vocal, they're a lot more engaged, and they are being listened to, thanks to obviously some of the work we do with the fan channels through the Ball Street Network and what have you. So if fans are able to get out there and have their say on it, it means that we might be able to direct the conversation, if not bring it to a halt.
For me, I love the uncertainty. I love the huge controversial moments that football brings.
There's that side of me that wants the controversy. Deep down, we all know it would be better if we got decisions right. But if you straight up disagree with it and you think it's ruining football, other things are ruining football, really. Ticket prices are ruining football. Having to pay mad out of your pocket just to buy like simple food at football is ruining football. Mad kickoff timers are ruining football. Clubs moving into sanitized stadia are ruining football. Those are the things ruining football. Referees getting a few more decisions right is not ruining football.
I do think it could be a very good thing, but I know personally, as a fan being at Anfield, they got it very wrong that night, and it as I say, it did bring a dampener onto what should have been a very, very celebratory night.
However you feel about it, I think we can all agree VAR is here to stay. It's like that Avon lady at your door. She's been knocking for a while, but has finally managed to get her foot in and doesn't look to be leaving anytime soon. On that note, we want to hear your opinion, so leave a comment telling us how you feel about VAR or any suggestions you would give to the FA before it rears its unformed head in Premier League football. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Copper 90.